In this video I'm going to be comparing the original T15 magazines with the new T15 V2 mags. So stick around and check it out. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is just doing a quick side-by-side regarding these two magazines, the original T15 and the V2 version of the mag. I'll be putting them side by side, seeing how they measure up, literally measure up to one another. How many round balls, well, we all know we can get 20 round balls in each of these, but the interesting thing I'm looking into is if we can get 20 first strikes in the V2. That's what they say, that's what people say you can do. I'll just check that out. I'm going to do a tear down, show you the differences between how you tear them down and some of the main differences I've noticed with upgrades to the new V2. Okay, so first of all, how do they compare side by side? So if I put them next to each other, you pretty much can't tell any difference whatsoever. So until you stack them up. So if you line the top up here, you can see that the V2 mag is slightly longer. Now I do actually have some micrometers here, so I can give you some details while we do this. So break these out. Okay, is it on? Yep. So with them lined up at the top there, let's just have a look and see. 8mm, it is 8mm. So depending which end of the mag you go, sort of 8mm to a centimetre, 8 to 10 mil, about 8mm. So not quite a centimetre longer. It does look to be most of that is this new bump stop, this end stop on here. It doesn't actually look like the curve of the mag goes much deeper. So we'll see how that fares at a later date. Now one thing I have noticed on these new markers is they must be slightly slimmer in this top section because they actually drop out of the marker. When you eject the mag, they all fall out. I've got my marker here, so I'll show you that in a sec. But I just want to have a quick measure up to see where that length difference comes in. So that's 65.1 mils there. .7 in that top bit. 62. So there's definitely a couple of mil, a few mil in that top section. So that's probably where it's gripping into the mag well currently, because these don't drop out. I don't know if people that have used these for years in the old Tiberius markers, whether they do loosen up or whether they've sanded them or something like that, but it might be one of the reasons. But if we do the width on there as well, so it's 23.7 thereabouts, 7. 22.9. So again, they're slightly slimmer all the way around that top section. So that could well be the answer to the conundrum. 64, lower down the neck, 64.7. So yeah, about half a cent, just under a bit of a millimetre. So yeah, there's bit of a difference there. So I'll just show you that the mag release. So here's my T15. So here's the original mag. Hit the release. You have to do that bit of jiggling around for it to fall out. There you go. Drops about 3/4 of a centimetre maybe, but doesn't actually come all the way out the mag. And you get the new one, the V2. Nearly did a major no-no. I had previously There you go. Don't want to get. There you go. Just release that out of there. You should never put that in your marker fully wound up without any paint in it, because it could damage the mags according to the warning on the instructions. So yeah, to put the newer V2 mag in, they're not noticeably loose, so that difference in size doesn't make any major changes in there, but you see, you hit the mag release and they will drop out. Nice. So if you want to do some really sweet, nice, fast mag changes, and just let the empty mags drop away, you need to be rocking the V2s, or do quite a bit of sanding down on the the older mags. Anyway, so get the marker out of the way there. It's not about the marker in this video. Sorry, Betty. Right, back to the mags. So yeah, slightly tight. This is a slightly tighter fit in the mag well, and these ones drop out really nicely. So first big differences between these two mags. The main one is there's a slightly different pattern. They're two different styles of P mags, I believe, from the real steel world that these patterns are taken from. I don't really have a preference on these. They're both good. They're both grippy. So if you are in the heat of the game and you're grabbing these things, you're not going to have a problem with either of them. They are a bit grippy. There is some texturing on the bottom here. This is probably slightly more grippier, but nothing to write home about. Also, I think these mags are slightly chunkier below the mag well. Let's just have a 26.2, 24.8. So yeah, so they're slightly chunkier below the mag well, where nothing's going to snag up. But nothing major there. Okay, anyway, I don't know where did I get to? Yeah, so the patterns, designs, nothing to worry about. As you start looking into the components of these things, obviously this is a solid black plastic, and this one is smoked. I don't know if you can see that from up above there, but yeah, this is smoked, so you can actually see how much paint you've got in this mag, which is quite a useful feature, depending on how you want your marker to look. But effectively, I think it's pretty cool. It's not see-through, it's just a smoke, so you can see a rough outline of what's in there. Similar to the modern P mags, you can do that, and then you can see the bullets in them anyway, so that's pretty good. So when you look at these side by side here, they've got a slightly different winding button, knob, screw, whatever you want to do. It's slightly bigger, so you can get, if you've got bigger fingers, you can get into that easier. It's not quite so small, but again, it's negligible. Don't think there's any major benefits, but in that, it's just a notification I made. The other big ones are the top here. So I think historically they have had some feeding issues with these markers in the end, most notably pressing the release, the spring release down on these. So it's a much more pronounced spring release there. It's not encased all in there on all four sides. On the new one, it's just you've got three sides of that covered, and then that's a more rounded part of it, so wherever you strike that, it's going to hit and release, whereas that one needed a bit more oomph to get through all three sides. You can mod this, you can sand that middle edge out so it has a similar effect to that. You can glue a little piece of plastic onto the internal of the marker, so to give the area of the upper receiver that touches the spring release more depth, more length, and it pushes that in. There's a couple of good videos on that. I might do that myself and show you that. And obviously the retention pin on here is massive. They've massively changed this section here. Main reasons for that is to do with getting the first strike round in, but we'll go over that in a sec. I've never had any issues with these markers. I like these, but yeah, you can see there's a metal section here and quite a small retention pin release there. That one's quite big. There's going to be no mistake in hitting that one when it goes in the marker. And it also makes it easier if you do put this mag together with the spring released. You can actually hold that out and get all the spring and this I don't know what you call that, the follower on the mag through there without having to make sure you wind it all back up into this section in the back here. Excuse me. So it's a complete redesign for the V2. This is a toolless design, so you can take it apart without using any tools. We'll do that in a sec. And all this top section here is now metal. Okay, rather than just the little section there being metal. So you still get that lovely satisfying metallic click when you stick the mags into your marker. Okay, so I'll strip both these mags down now, just to show you side by side how easy they are or not. I've never had too much of an issue with these ones. You need to fully wind these mags up. It's not impossible to do this if you open it up and it all springs everywhere, which it might do yet. But yeah, what you want to do is have all this spring tension up into the little cylinder that's up in the mag, so that you can just hold that in there when you take the two halves apart. Okay, so this is two Allen key screws that hold this mag, the clamshell together of the mag. So there's one, and there's two. So this, the little cylinder I said about, resides in this top section. As you look at it, the back here, you can just see that little brass cylinder there. So what you're aiming to do is open this clamshell up and keeping your finger, wrong way, that's right, so you want it side the screws were in, keeping your finger on that little cylinder. Okay, if you let go of that, if I was to let go of that, it would go ping and fly over it. You also have to watch this little cylinder because they can be quite sharp. I think a couple of times I've sliced the tips of my fingers on those. So what a lot of people have done is put some adhesive on the back side of that cylinder to hold it in there, so you don't have to worry about holding it down with your fingers. Essentially there's the mechanism in there. It's all individual parts and exposed. So what we'll do is we'll open that up and you'll see the difference. It's a whole redesign on the internal, but nothing major. If you do accidentally release that, then you can just wind it back up. You can kind of put the spring in here when you close the clamshell and try and wind it up, or partially wind it up and sit it in there up to here, and then you're all good to go. Alright, but I don't really want to have to do that now to show you it, but yeah, trust me, you can do it. So then you just piece the two clamshell sides together. That's a good tongue twister. And put the screws back in. It doesn't matter which way around they go, they're not different lengths, exactly the same screws. Okay. I will leave that depressed because I'll show you, we're going to load them up with rounds in a minute and show you how many rounds you can get in there. That's the other one. So the new V2 mags. So what you're supposed to do is remove this bottom plate, okay, and then get this top plate off. Now there's a little groove on the left hand side, the non-wind up side, you can get a tool into, but they're supposed to be toolless, so I'm not going to get a tool in there. people said you can kind of use this end cap here, so I don't really like doing it, to be honest, because it gnarls it up. I don't like gnarling new stuff up, but what you're aiming to do is try to unclip that end cap there, and then the same on the other side. It's just two little clips in the metal, two holes in the metal, and a plastic sort of rise a bit on there. There we go. So, a bit more. I'm trying to avoid it popping off and flying off the table if I can. But, okay. Well, it's not usually this painful to get off. So, there we go. So you just got that above there. So that top metal piece taken off. What I now do is wind this up. The reason I didn't wind it up beforehand is every now and again, not every time, but you can catch that little release and you end up having to do it again anyway. So that's all wound up in there. With it safely wound up, you can take the two clamshells, which side is it sitting on? Take the two halves apart, like that. Set everything out. So I put that here. So as you can see, that's the biggest difference of this new style. So I'm wondering, it's a bit, that's sitting in there better now. That might have been, it might need to bed in a bit. There is some notes in the leaflet that comes with this that it does take a few uses for these to bed in, but it wasn't quite sitting in there correctly. It was sticking out a little bit, so that might have affected how many first strikes we may or may not be able to get in this style of marker. But yeah, really easy to get apart even without any tools. You just use the end nubbin bit there, and to put it back together you just reverse the process. So stick a retention section in there, put the other side of the clamshell on, okay, on there like that. Slot this top section back over the top. There we go. All clips back into place nicely. And then you slide the bottom back on. And there you have it. The marker back in place. Now, both of these magazines can take 20 round balls. I don't want to put round balls in there. The main benefit or selling benefit to this is that you're supposed to be able to get 20 first strikes in them. So I'm going to try that. I've got two different types of first strikes here, so they're not actually two different types. This is the Wrap 4 shaped projectile solid rounds. They're plastic paintballs for plinking or target shooting in the garden, setting up sights, that kind of stuff. They're not for shooting at people. I don't shoot them at people. I don't intend to. But they are handy for doing demos like this. But just wanted to see how they compare with actual first strikes. Yeah, not too dissimilar. So what we'll do is let's count these off as they go in this new V2 mag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, dun dun dun. Oh, not quite. So, yeah, I'm not convinced that that is 9. So you can hold it on that top one there, but I think, let's have a look at the light there. So that is as high up as it will go. There's no give there. So that's what I was talking about. Maybe that's part of the design of this mag. So this section at the top here, the round will go round that retainer. So if that was your first mag, if you were putting that into your marker to start the game, you've technically got 20 rounds in it. But I wouldn't put that in mag pouch, because A, it could drop out when you lift it up, and these things aren't cheap. They're like 30 odd p or something, whatever that is in dollars. 20 cents, 15 cents a go. So you don't want to be dropping those willy-nilly, and that defeats the object of putting 20 in there if you only get 19 anyway, so you might as well put 19. But yeah, if that's your first mag you were loading up to put in the marker to take out on the start of the game, you get 20 in there. If you have a different experience with these and you can get 20 in these and it beds in and allows you to get 20 in there, just leave a comment below, let everyone know that that's the case. I'll update this video or make another video on that if I find that to be true as well. But yeah, to give you a comparison, let's put 20 in this one. I might use these are the rounds because they're same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I don't know if you can see that. 19, and then same thing again there, but there's no way that's... Yeah, I wouldn't... Don't think I entertain that. So it doesn't actually say on the mag instructions or leaflet or anything like that that they take 20. It's just that was the buzz. The buzz around them was that they take 20. In my mind, there's no benefit in capacity wise unless you're going to put that in. I might use that on the first mag of the first game to get 20 rounds in the mag straight off the bat. But you could do a similar thing. You could just put one in the breech and then put this mag in, and you get the same effect. So it's a bit disappointing. Bit disappointing really on that one. Yeah, I wouldn't call that a 20 round first strike mag. I call that a 19 round first strike mag with a lot of room in the end of it. So I'd normally do that to release the tension and then wind it back, take the tension back off. So yeah, now a nice mag, but you can't get 20 first strike rounds in them. Okay. So to round this video off, what else is there you need to know? We've stripped them down, showed you the differences, the price. So at the moment you can buy a twin pack of these, and depending where you get them from, and you can get various deals, they work out less than 20 quid each. These here in the UK, sorry, £20, which is 22 something dollars maybe, and these you can't buy in pairs, you can only buy them in singles, and they're currently, the various places I've looked at, they're £22, £23 depending where you get them from, again which is like $25, $26 in the States. So They're not cheaper, there's no financial benefit. They're upgraded. The springs are better in here for first strikes. They've brought out a V2 spring kit for the older mags. I don't have that. If I start rocking first strikes more often, I might go down that line and do that. But yeah, I'm going to keep all my old mags, still use them with round ball, stick some first strikes in the new ones and rock that. But yeah, I do really like the feature with these where you hit the mag release and they drop out. That is excellent for me, especially with transition drills and some of the stuff I like doing, which is why I've got the solid first strikes. I use those for, you know, plinking, if you like, some of the target shooting and bits and bobs I do. I might get some video of that if I can sort that out. But yeah, that's the side-by-side comparison. I think looks and features and function and stuff, I'm slightly erring towards the new V2, but I never had an issue with the V1 mags either. So whichever you're doing, if you're getting into T15 and you're thinking of going all V2, go with it. I'm sure they'll be fine. If you've already got your kit or you're going to buy a bundle and they come with these mags, don't fret. That's what I did. They work. And they're slightly less. I mean, there's solid plastic in their first strike. I know you hear that. Bit more rattly, bit more plasticky, echoey. These are a bit solider. So if you like sneaking up on people, don't use plastic pellets. Don't use first strikes. Maybe round balls might be a bit lighter in there, but I doubt it if these are. Anyway, I'm rambling on now. So there's the two mags side by side. We've done a bit of a test, how many first strikes you can get in them. Let me know what you think. Are you going to be going for the V2 mags? You're going to be staying with your originals? Have you used the V2 mags and you think that they suck or they've got a major flaw or design fault, something like that? Let me know, hit the comments below and I'll try and test it out and get another video out there. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like the video and you are into all things Magfed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Really helps me out. Thanks again and see you in another video. Cheers.